Hello and welcome back to Crucial Tech. I'm your host CJ, and today on this video we'll be trying to decide one of the puzzles that so many people have. When you're on a budget and you want to buy a new phone, do you go for a new phone that has just been released at a budget price, or do you go for a phone that was expensive and has since reduced in price over the years? So sit back, relax, and let us break this down. To help us break this down, I've chosen two devices. There's no particular reason for choosing these devices. We would have chosen any, but I've chosen the Tecno Camon 16 Pro and the Xiaomi Mi A2. Tecno Camon 16 Pro, a budget device released back in September of 2020, and the Xiaomi Mi A2, a device that was released back in 2018 and has since reduced in price. So this will give us a clear indication of whether do you go for a budget device, a new budget device, or do you go for an older device that has since reduced in price. In terms of the design, the Tecno Camon 16 Pro has a more recent design or a more modern design than the Xiaomi Mi A2, but it's not that much of a difference. But the Xiaomi Mi A2 has a frosty metal back, while the Tecno Camon 16 Pro has the glossy back that we see with more of the modern devices. Tecno Camon 16 Pro also has 4 cameras at the back, as opposed to the Xiaomi Mi A2 with just 2 cameras at the back. However, remember, as per my Tecno Camon 16 Pro video that will be somewhere here or here, which it will be on one side, you can go check that video. The Tecno Camon 16 Pro has 4 cameras, but only 2 cameras are working. At the back, the Tecno Camon 16 Pro, 4 cameras, the Xiaomi Mi A2, 2 cameras. When it comes to the front, the Tecno Camon 16 Pro also looks more modern than the Xiaomi Mi A2 because it has the punch hole camera design, while the Xiaomi Mi A2 still has the bezels on top and the bottom. However, for me as a person, the design is not usually a deal breaker. But for others, I know the design can be a deal breaker. But the one thing that might be a real deal breaker for everyone is the size of the devices. The Tecno Camon 16 Pro has a thickness of 9.2 millimeters compared to only 7.3 millimeters of the Xiaomi Mi A2. The Tecno Camon 16 Pro also is 6.7 inches tall compared to 6.3 inches tall of the Xiaomi Mi A2. This is quite a difference for one-handed uses. So meaning the Tecno Camon 16 Pro is a device that you will need 2 hands to be able to operate comfortably. But the Xiaomi Mi A2 is a device that you can operate comfortably with one hand. So when it comes to design, user preference, but generally the Tecno Camon 16 Pro, all we can say that it's a massive device, 200 device straight out. So moving on to the software side of things, this is where the Xiaomi Mi A2 has an upper hand than the Tecno Camon 16 Pro. Let me tell you why I'm saying this. The Tecno Camon 16 Pro is a device that was released back in 2020, September of 2020. The Xiaomi Mi A2, as I mentioned earlier, was released in 2018, but they are both running Android 10. Good enough. The Tecno Camon 16 Pro is still running the September 2020 patch. The Xiaomi Mi A2, a 2018 device, is running the February 2021 patch. So the Xiaomi Mi A2, being a 2021 phone, being a 2018 phone, is way ahead of a 2020 phone. In addition, the Tecno Camon 16 Pro has the iOS on top of it, which is the skin on top of the Android version 10. As opposed to Xiaomi Mi A2 that has the vanilla Android, clean experience. You do not have any addition on it. However, there are people who prefer the skin on top of Android, like the iOS that comes with additional features like the eye tracking when you're trying to take a video or take a photo. It helps you focus. There is the swipe from the left. There are just a few more things that comes with the addition of the skin on top of the regular Android. But for the Xiaomi Mi A2, since it's a vanilla Android, you do not have any addition on top of it. You only have the Android or Google apps to work with, which is a good thing to many people, including me. But for others, they will prefer the skins that are put on top of Android to give them more features. In terms of performance, I can say both devices were sufficiently performing well enough. I have used the device for quite some time and I did not have any issues. But you know, if we say that both devices are performing well enough, we will say that the Xiaomi Mi A2 has an upper hand on this case, because it's a 2018 phone and it's still performing well enough as a 2020 phone. So I'll post the numbers here, so for the benchmarks, in case you need the numbers. But in terms of general performance, they're all working well enough. So when it comes to the battery life, now this is where the Tecno Camon 16 Pro has an upper hand. The Tecno Camon 16 Pro comes rocking a 5000 milliamperes battery, as opposed to the Xiaomi Mi A2 that only has a 3000 milliamperes battery. This is a 33% drop, as in 33% lower battery life. So in terms of battery life, the Tecno Camon 16 Pro will take you for a whole day or a day and a half comfortably. But the Xiaomi Mi A2, you will have to work with a charger. Another thing when it comes to the battery life of a device, if you're buying a device that was expensive and has since dropped in price, or rather a device that has been in the market for quite some time, lithium batteries tend to degrade. So you'll have to realize that the battery life will not be as good as it was when the device was launching. So even at 3000 milliamperes, the device as of now will not perform as a 3000 milliamperes battery. However, it is quite easy to replace the batteries of phones. So if you're buying an older phone, a good idea is, if the battery is not performing well enough, you can always swap it up for a brand new battery and you're back. And also in that regards, when it comes to charging, both devices are supporting 18 watts fast charging. So even if you have to charge, you will just plug in and have a quick top up that will last you for a day, or you can always top it up. That's all I can say. So you do not have to worry much about the battery life, but just know that with the Tecno Camon 16 Pro, you'll be more comfortable as opposed to the Xiaomi Mi A2 that at somewhere in between the day you will need to top up the battery if you're a heavy user. But if you are a light user, maybe you might finish the day with one cycle. When it comes to the camera, the Tecno Camon 16 Pro boasts of 4 cameras at the back. However, we know only 2 works. The Xiaomi Mi A2 on the other hand has only 2 cameras. So in terms of cameras, I can say at the back they're all the same. When it comes to the front, the Tecno Camon 16 Pro has 2 cameras, only 1 works, while the Xiaomi Mi A2 has 1 camera, so also 1 camera each. Now I'll post a few samples. I did a point and shoot for each. I'm not a professional camera person, but I just did point and shoot, which most people will be doing, and all I can say is that most of these photos are good enough for social media consumption, which is what so many people are using their cameras for. So both devices, if you just need something good for social media photos and videos, good enough. You will not be disappointed with either. They are all good enough, if not. So pricing, which is the most important thing here and which will be the decision maker in this case, the 2 devices I can tell you are priced the same at the moment. The Tecno Camon 16 Pro is around 20,000 Kenyan shillings, while the Xiaomi Mi A2 is around 19 or 20,000 shillings. So if the pricing is what you're using to compare the devices, they are at the same level right now. In fact, you can get the Xiaomi Mi A2 even cheaper than the Tecno Camon 16 Pro. Here it goes a long way to show you that sometimes more expensive devices can reduce in price and still maintain their performance and give you a good performance after years. You do not have to rack so much money into buying a new device that has just been released. You can be comfortable with the older device that has since dropped in price, because as we know, Android phones really drop their prices so fast. So finally, having seen the comparison between the two devices, you as the viewer, which one will you go for? Will you go for the new device that has just been released at a budget price range, or will you go for an older device that has since reduced in price? Comment down below, let us know. Let's get the conversation going. For me, in this case, between the Tecno Camon 16 Pro or the Xiaomi Mi A2, I will go with the Xiaomi Mi A2, mainly because of the vanilla Android. I like me a clean vanilla Android. I don't like bloatware. But for other people, I don't know what your choice is. I don't know what is your deal breaker. For me, it's the Android experience. I want a clean device, and the Xiaomi Mi A2 in this case gives me the clean experience. What about you? I don't know. Tell me down there in the comment section and let's get talking. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you loved it, and subscribe if you are new here. See you on the next video. Thanks.